Friends, I'm recording this video from the beautiful St. John's Anglican Church in downtown Craighurst, Ontario. The last week has been uncharted territory for us both as individuals and as a church. 1 week ago today, the bishops of Toronto announced the suspension of in-person worship on Sundays and throughout the week. Much of our life has been disrupted, and we don't know when things will be back to normal again or what that normal will look like. As the initial shock of that announcement has worn off, I found myself thinking theologically about our present trial. And one of the biblical images that I've been returning to is Israel's own exile. In the 6th century BC, King Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Jerusalem, including the focal point of Jewish worship, the temple. Many of the Israelites were deported to Babylonia, where they lived for decades in exile. It was during this time that the Lord encouraged his people, saying, "Call upon me and come and pray to me, I will hear you. When you search for me, you will find me." This was coupled with the promise that one day the Lord would gather his people together and bring them back home again. Right now, we are unable to be together as we usually are. However, if this time of social distancing causes us to draw nearer to the Lord and to search for him, to take responsibility for our own faith and to nurture it, to grow and mature, then it will prove beneficial for us. What I'm suggesting is the Lord might use this for our good. On Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m., we'll continue to gather digitally on the St. Paul's Facebook page to worship the Lord. That's what we do. It can't and won't cease. But we are going to experiment with some different avenues of doing so. For example, this Sunday we'll be live streaming morning prayer according to the Book of Common Prayer. In place of the sermon, you'll be encouraged to have another look at the gospel reading and to study it either alone or as a family using the tools that we'll provide. We're also exploring ways of gathering digitally during the week that enable us to see and hear one another. Part of my hope for us during this time is that we get better acquainted with the Bible and the prayer book. Heck, you're locked in your house. There's never been a better time. Digital resources, including the liturgy we'll be using this Sunday, can be found on our website under Praying During the Pandemic and attached to this email. But if you'd like to borrow a prayer book or a hymnal from the church for use at home, just let me know and Tom or I would be happy to deliver one to you personally. Let's make our homes into little churches and consecrate them with prayer. You know, the Israelites didn't stay in Babylonia forever. The Lord did indeed bring them home, and when they got there, they rebuilt Jerusalem, and worship in the temple was restored. And on that day, all Israel wept and shouted for joy to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. One day, the Lord will gather us back together, and if on that day we have learned to love and appreciate more deeply what we presently lack, then we will have lots to give thanks for indeed. God bless you and keep you, now and always.